The great American pastime, cycling and silver. Cycling for having the best health, and silver for having the best investment. Cycling actually raises your cardio rate and improves your mind, raises your serotonin levels, and gives you a great booty, of course, So I always like people doing lots of cycling. As far as the silver markets today, I know it's sitting down a little bit. The Dow went up 100 points. La-di-da-di-da. I'm going to give you a little spiel, though, here, because I always look around for news, and I search every place I could possibly can and just condense it. Japan's conservative liberal Democrat Party won a landslide victory at an election and pledged to hyper-ease monetary policy. So that's good news for the metals. In other words, you don't want to be in any kind of currency and actually yen is one of the safer havens out there as far as currencies goes, like the yen, the Canadian dollar, maybe even the Australian dollar, the Swiss franc, and the Chinese yuan. Those would be better alternative currencies than the U.S. dollar. So here's Japan. They're going to hyper-ease the monetary policy and, weaken their yen one way or the other. And also China. There's a lot of indication that China will greatly loosen monetary policy in 2013. It's got to be very bullish for the metals. I don't want to say we waited more than a year for this crap to be going up again after the big nosedive. And, looking back in retrospect, it's pretty funny how a lot of people were predicting $100 silver back when it was getting up in the 40s, and it was going to be $100 by the summer of 2011. And then it was going to be $100 by the end of 2011. It was going to be $100 by the end of 2012. And here it is, still sitting here flat. But, just to, put something in general perspective, when was the high last time in silver? We could look back, say, May 1st, April 30th, 2011, right? Say right around the beginning, springtime 2011. When was the high? When did it hit about 22? Also, in 2008, right around May, right? It was up to 22, pulled back, went up to 20, then it crashed. Right? So it's about a 3-year period, right? So let's assume it's 3-year cycles. A lot of times these cycles and stuff work out pretty well, like when you're looking at these charts. So let's say 2014. 2014 is the next height. Now, is it going to go to $500 an ounce by then? There's a lot of crazy things that can happen. And I want to actually just kind of, this is I'm putting this out as common, plain, simple logic. I'm almost thinking maybe it's not going to be early 2014. Maybe I think later 2014, early 2015. But considering the last time in 2008, it was up to a height of 22, pulled back down to 8 something. Then it went up to 47, 48. The next time it goes up, it might be just right around 100. It might not go up to 200, 300, 400. But, I'm saying this early as a little psychological prep because as it goes up, we might see it going up to 65, 70, then pull back into the 40s. And then, in 2014, it's going to be going up to 100. I don't know what the hell is going to happen after that. Nobody does. But obviously, we know when there's policies out like this, we got QE3, which is 40 billion purchases of mortgage-backed securities in the open market every month, 40 billion, and then on top of it, QE4, another 45 billion, so 85 billion. That's going to make the metals go up. Now, Japan's policies are actually going to be hyper-easing monetary policy, and China's also going to do the same type of thing. So, what the hell's left? Actually, the Canadian dollar is going to be one of your better bets for fiat currency, but the only reason the Canadian dollar is going to be one of your better bets is because of better fiscal responsibility and more natural resources such as oil and gold production and metals production, because there's a lot of commodities in Canada. But I don't know, the United States looks like they're coming on pretty strong too, but they are destroying our dollar piecemeal. But it may not be like a complete nosedive like some people in the silver and gold crowd say. It's going to have to be a more substantial event coming from the outside, and you really don't know what that's going to be. It's like something that it's an entanglement that you really don't know the outcome. Even the smartest people that lay out the best plans, there's always unintended consequences that happen. You know, that's a phrase I always picked up from Mark Faber. They play this game, they play that game, but there's unintended consequences that can happen, and there could be a snafu. So yeah, it is possible that silver could go to $400 or $500 an ounce. Gold can go to thousands of dollars an ounce, and palladium could be worth a hell of a lot more than gold and have many more thousands of dollars an ounce. I can't say to count on it though, but hold on to those insurance policies. No doubt about it. Hold on to them, because it is a possibility. Because looking at what's going on with global policy, you know, we're not the only country in the world that's making our currency weaker and weaker. There's a lot of other countries, just pointed out, China and Japan, two of the more responsible countries too. Pretty amazing. Now, something else that came in that made it weaker for the metals, should have made it weaker for the markets too, but it's called, you know, this is right off the Federal Reserve site, and I'll post a link. It's actually like a survey of like what goes on in manufacturing, and they got to seasonally adjust it and the survey indicators, so you can actually see ahead of time different things that are going on. And this is an older chart. You know, this is actually from back a little bit, but the newer information that is out is showing that, you know, due to Hurricane Sandy that we just had, a lot of the manufacturing is down in the New York area. So that's another thing that, since manufacturing is associated with silver, that's another thing that can kind of bring things down, like commodities down, copper, aluminum, the whole deal. But it's not really like, they're not taking a major hit, because there are a lot of physical buyers that are moving into silver. They're buying the coins. They're buying the gold coins. And they're buying into the ETFs too. So, you know, but I have to say that, you know, I'm expecting that silver, the next type, you know, head wall where we get into another big, you know, it's going to move up. I mean, it's going to go up and down, but I think the next real major resistance point is going to be somewhere between the upper 60s and 75. But longer range, I'm figuring like in 2014 sometime, it probably will hit that magic 100. That's quite a bit time off from now. I mean, it's not that. That's quite a ways. I mean, you're talking like a year and a half from now. So maybe more. But you know, when I just got a word of caution out there, because when it does get up, I'm thinking the next time if we have this conflict in the Middle East, and it does get up to what do you call it? You know, the next point where it's going up to about $65, $70. You know, the conflict might be over with, the oil prices might come down, and guess what? You know, it's going to take another run up at the 100 level again. But in the meantime, all the silver bloggers probably, I would surmise that they're going to tell you it's going to go to 100. Man, once silver goes past 50 or 60, boy, they're going to be coming on hot and heavy with the sky's the limit predictions. And I got a word of caution out about that. Not that I'm going to sell a lot of physical. I'd probably sell a little bit and wait for, you know, I would cautiously sell a little bit. I'm not going to be that foolish as to sell everything, but I'm not going to be so foolish as to hold everything either if it gets up that high and it got those kind of gains. Now, this is something else I want to point out. This is from the Institute of, what the hell is it again? The Institute of Supply Management. They're kind of like the PMI, the Primary Manufacturing Index, a little bit different, but it's actually, this was a report that was out in November, regarding November data, and actually in the United States, the manufacturing's down a little bit. So, you know, this is another thing that's weighing in on the metals. You know, the QE is making it go up, and by speculation, and also investors moving into it. But things like the PMI, which comes from the Institute of Supply Management, is showing it's down for manufacturing in the United States. The first time they're showing it down all year. This is actually the worst it's been in a few years. So that's one reason things are sitting kind of flat. I mean, they're going down a little bit, but not too much. Oil's on the rise again. I would imagine oil is going up more because of conflict or potential conflict in the Middle East. Speculation on what's going to happen in Syria if it spills over into Iran and all this kind of garbage. So, but basically, you know, I'm expecting it's really where silver is going to take off. It's not just going to be due to QE. It's also going to be from war in the Middle East. That's the wild card. That's the thing I can't figure exactly. Nobody can figure. It was very close. I expected it to happen in 2012 towards like late spring, at least early summer. Didn't happen. Actually, it was extremely close. But now there's more indications it's going to happen next spring. That may be the case. I don't know. They're talking about they have direct negotiations with Iran over their nuclear weapons program. The U.S. is doing that. So if that happens, oil goes up, gold goes up, silver goes up, and then you add in the QE factor. But I don't think it's going to go up to some of the crazy numbers that some people will be predicting right away. But it is going to have a hell of a lot of gains. I mean, when you're talking, if silver goes up to $65 to $70 an ounce, or 75 even, that's a hell of a big gain. I mean, really, people, they don't realize how big of a gain that is. That's a hell of a big gain, especially if, say, that happened by next summer. But, I think that, when the war gets over with, because I don't think it's going to spread like one of these things that they're predicting in the Bible, like it's going to go to Armageddon right away. I think that Armageddon stuff might come about some years down the future with China, but not with Iran. I don't think so. But if that happens with the war with Iran, that's when you're going to see the silver really take off and the gold and all this type of stuff. So I would say to people, if you start getting it starts getting over 70, 60, you start selling a little bit of physical, because I think it may, if it hits a wall, I think it's going to hit a wall around 70, 75 if it goes really ballistic fast. And then it's going to pull back, and then maybe 2014 is when you're going to see the 100. It's a crazy animal. I'm not totally taking a guess here, but I'm kind of looking at Fibonacci and kind of political events too. So I just want to put that as a warning. The other thing out there with the warning is, if every single silver blogger is telling you the Illuminati are losing control, the New World Order is losing, and the currency's going to zero, and the sky is falling, if they're all saying that, and you're holding silver all the way right to the end there, I'd caution you on taking a little bit of fiat. Not a lot. Smart thing would probably be to dump the whole thing into fiat, but that to me is too nerve-wracking and risky. I feel safer with the physical silver, but I would sell a little bit and go into some fiat. When they all start getting hot and heavy on, hey, it's going to go way the hell up to the moon and all this type of stuff, because that is going to happen again. That is going to happen, and I'm thinking between downgrading the debt, which is going to come up sometime in 2013, and the war coming up with Iran, and all this QE stuff, and the economy maybe not looking so great. That can actually bring down silver, but the war, QE4, and downgrading the debt, which will come up, between all those factors, silver and gold are going to go way up. But if they get too far ahead of themselves too quickly, sell a little bit. Don't be afraid to take some fiat cash and have some fiat cash reserves. Don't want to be 100% into any one investment. Okay? I'm not saying to sell all of it. That's your insurance policy. But hear me very carefully. Sell a little bit of it if you get some crazy gains. I don't like what those other guys say on. This is where I differ from the other silver bloggers, because, man, they tell you to hold 100% silver all the way. And I don't like that advice, to tell you the truth. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm holding mostly silver. Mostly. Okay? All right.